Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is Concerned Christians Outreach once again. I'm here today to continue our discussion on marriage. For some weeks, I discussed various aspects of courtship and dating. We looked at the differences and concluded that today, people prefer dating to courtship because it does not involve their parents, and therefore there will be no form of interference from them. They can do what they like, and since there is no commitment right from the beginning, they are ready to separate and take a replacement as soon as possible. All they want is all forms of fun and enjoyment. Even with majority preference for dating, courtship is better as it brings honor and glorious manifestation to the marriage institution. You remember mentioning the fact that commitment is very important in courtship as it ends in marriage. Today, I once again want to remind you that God set up the institution of marriage to His glory. In the book of Genesis, chapters 1 and 2, we will read about how God created Adam alone, while the animals were created male and female. At a stage, God wanted to state the maturity and wisdom of Adam, and He instructed Adam to give names to all these animals. My dear listeners, what we're actually looking at now is the first marriage in the Garden of Eden. Marriage in the Garden of Eden. Adam did give them names as they came to him, male and female. We were told that the animals still bear the names Adam gave them till today. It might probably be that when God saw the beauty of the animals and how they related with each other as they came, male and female, that He then declared in the book of Moses called Genesis, chapter 2, verse 18, that it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him. God then took a bone from the left side of Adam and used it to mold a beautiful woman. God did this as realized that woman is absolutely essential in His plan. Part of His plan is that they should continue to multiply. He was the one who observed it is not good that man should be alone, and He therefore determined to make him a helper. This woman was suitable to man in every particular aspect, like mental, spiritual, emotional, social, physical needs. The marriage ceremony in the Garden of Eden thus started. That is the first marriage weird. The man Adam had earlier been created. A bone from his left rib was removed, and a woman was made. Immediately God brought her to Adam. He was happy. He was excited seeing a very beautiful woman because he recognized her as his equal, and said in great excitement, "Bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." This recognition has resulted in what has become known as the universal law of marriage. We all know that even when we are looking for our spouse, looking for somebody to marry, our parents will pray that it is the bone of your side that you will get as a spouse. This is where this idea started. So from this universal law of marriage, we can bring out three things. First, the responsibility for marriage is on the man's shoulders because it is from his rib that the bone used to carve the woman was taken. So the responsibility for marriage is on the man's shoulder. 2, the man is to leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. And the responsibility for keeping the union together is on the man's shoulders. Man, you hear? He is to be joined to his wife. And 3, the union is indissoluble. That is what we got. That is what we got from the first marriage in the Garden of Eden. This is God's plan, beautiful plan for marriage. How far do we allow this to work in our marital affairs? So, the union is indissoluble. They shall become one flesh. And how do they become one flesh? They become one flesh through sex. Since you have sex, your blood exchanges, and therefore you become one flesh. That is the wish of God. My dear listeners, God allows sex in marriage. So, anybody who says you are punishing your husband with sex, or you are punishing your wife with sex, then you are not acting according to God's plan. Another act that shows there was marriage in the Garden of Eden can be seen in Genesis 2, verse 24, which explains that the man will leave his father and mother and cleave with his wife. So from the beginning, as stated in Genesis 2:24, man and woman were created naked. They were naked. There is no reason once you are married for you to be ashamed and be covering up yourself. This is the plan of God. They were made naked. It is when you sin, you do something wrong, that you try to cover up, as it happened to Adam and Eve. They were naked, and they were not ashamed of each other because the love was there. So we need to know that there is no shame in nudity when intercourse within the right context, which is the marital union. We see clearly from Genesis 2:24 that one, sex was God's idea and it is not sinful. Propagation of the species is one, but not the exclusive purpose for sex. The Bible gives two other reasons to promote. One is to promote love between the husband and wife. So, Mr. Man, don't starve your wife, don't starve her of sex. The more you have it, the better you grow in love. It is God's plan. And two, sex is necessary in order to prevent fornication, which is the unlawful satisfaction of the God-given sexual desire. You can read about this in first book of Paul, in the first book of Paul called Corinthians, chapter 7, verse 2. So, my dear listeners, all over the world, you can see that God sets up the pattern for marriage as it happened in the Garden of Eden. God was the alága ìdúró, he was the alága ìjókòó. At the same time, he was the father to both Adam and Eve. So because marriage is ordained by God, it has to be honored, as it is written in the book of Paul to the Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 4. Thank you.